just in 2.5 months, my patient volume has increased by 23%. My new patient numbers have increased by 33%. My collections have increased by 42%. And that's just in the first 2.5 months.
When I tell people who are listening or watching that Dr. Paul is awesome, he really is awesome. This is, like I mentioned, not an average chiropractor.
Not to sound too full of myself, but I'm an amazing chiropractor. But marketing has never been, growing the business side has never been my strong suit. I mean, we've barely gotten anything out there because we're starting at a slow, measured pace. And already it's been measurable improvements in practice. I can't wait to see what happens when we really get going.
Many doctors are looking for different ways to get new patients, different ways to market their practice, to grow their practice, to grow their business. And when they hire marketing companies, marketing agencies, they're usually promised that whatever they're going to achieve is going to be different. Usually, it's not. Usually, it doesn't work. And usually the provider is left in a situation that they need to hire somebody else, either internally or another agency. That can be very, very frustrating. And I believe it doesn't have to be this way. So today, I decided to invite our awesome new client, Dr. Paul Abosh. He started pretty recently with us, so we have just initial feedback from his experience, and I wanted him to share what's working for him, what is different, how his experience is going with Polish Your Business, and also I wanted to ask him about some initial results. So Dr. Paul, big thank you for joining. Welcome to Polish Your Business.
My pleasure.
Super.
So first of all, I want to tell a little story and correct something that Mike just said. I'm a new client with him, but I actually worked with Mike years ago when I was with a previous business partner. When I first opened this practice, that was my initial introduction to you, and you were awesome to work with then. And decisions were made that were out of my hands back then that I wasn't able to continue working with you as much as I would have loved to. But then recently, I went off on my own and took over control of this practice 100%, which has always been my dream. And one thing my wife has always said, my wife is kind of like my sounding board. She's told me over and over again, she said, Paul, there's no shame in knowing what you're good at and knowing what you're not good at in your business. Not everybody can be good at everything. And not to sound too full of myself, but I'm an amazing chiropractor. But marketing has never been, growing the business side has never been my strong suit. And I knew, and I still know that I need help with that. And when I got off on my own and knew I wanted to use social media to the best possible way, I just happened to come across Polish Mike's business card, which has been sitting in my Rolodex since I opened this practice 6 years ago. And I knew I had to call him.
Yeah, Dr. Paul,
it's in the other room, but as soon as I saw the business
so funny.
card,
I don't remember when was the last time I actually passed a physical business card, because it actually was a while ago. And I'm so happy that you had that business card, and you reached out through Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
And
yes.
Only a little bit, because if somebody is watching, let's say there's a provider watching who may be in a similar situation, there are some big decisions that they are making, they have big goals, and they would like to do everything themselves. If you could just help people understand what was your mindset back then, and also what triggered you to contact me, because I loved it. I just want people to understand that these things happen very organically.
Right. So, first of all, like I said a minute ago, I'm sure there are some business owners and entrepreneurs who legitimately can do everything themselves, and good for them. But my experience and a lot of...
I haven't met one.
Right, well, if you meet someone, let me know. My experience with most business owners, not just chiropractors, but most business owners I know, is they can't do everything themselves. Even if you have the skills, there isn't enough hours in the day. And especially if you have a family. So like I said, I know my strengths. I know the areas where I'm not as strong. And for me, there just weren't enough hours in the day to give quality time to my patients, to run the day-to-day operations of the business, and to also market the practice and grow the practice. At the same time, I have these goals, which are still going to be achieved, of growing this practice to the level I know it can get to. And I knew I needed help. And I'm a big believer in, I don't know, call it whatever you want, call it fate, call it serendipity, call it whatever other term you want. But I don't think it was an accident that I just happened to come across your business card right at a time where I had just taken over control of this practice and knew I needed to grow it and knew I needed help in an area that I'm not as strong in. And I knew that that was your forte.
That's awesome. I'm very happy that you remembered, that you reached out. And of course, right now, knowing what happened next, I'm very happy that you also allowed us and trusted us, our team, to come in and support. When I tell people who are listening or watching that Dr. Paul is awesome, he really is awesome. We are not talking to an average chiropractor. Clinically, he integrates his practice. Maybe tell a little bit more about what your practice does in terms of integrative healthcare, and also what do you represent for chiropractic as a profession? Because I respect this profession so much, and you have so many accomplishments. So, Dr. Paul is very modest, so I want to pull it out of him so you guys will know.
All right, well, you got to drag it out of me. But on the clinical side, on the practice ownership side, I've always done my practice philosophy has always been what we'll use the term integrative healthcare. It's not just chiropractic care. It's not just spinal manipulation. Even on the chiropractic side, I'm not just a chiropractor. I'm a certified chiropractic extremity practitioner, certified chiropractic sports practitioner. So I've always integrated a lot of physical therapy and full body rehabilitative exercises into my treatment plans. I treat a lot more extremity cases than a lot of chiropractors, and I've always been a firm believer in using having every possible tool available in my tool belt for patients. So that includes not just joint manipulation, soft tissue work, rehab. It includes trigger point dry needling, kinesiotaping, custom-made orthotics. The common modalities a lot of chiropractors use, like electric muscle stimulation, intersegmental traction. Mike actually got me into using the near infrared light that I've been trying to get into for years. Soon we're going to incorporate a few other therapies once I move into a new location with more office space. In the past, I've had acupuncturists in my office. I've had massage therapists in my office. And that's something I plan to do when I find a new location with more space as well. So, and on top of that, I've always collaborated with other healthcare professionals, medical doctors of every specialty, internal medicine, orthopedics, OBGYN, pediatrics, dentists. I've had good relationships with personal trainers, you name it. And, nurse practitioners, doctors of osteopathy, and, so, and it's great for me to know that, but the other professionals out there need to know that as well. So on the clinical side, it's like just like on the business building side, there's a lot that I can do for my patients, but I can't do everything. And that's where collaboration with other healthcare practitioners and incorporating other therapies into the chiropractic physical therapy side of my practice gives patients the best outcomes. But aside from that,
That's
just
amazing.
like Mike said, I am a huge supporter of my profession because I want to give back to the profession it gave to me. I spent, I don't know, probably like almost 10 years serving on the Maryland Chiropractic Association as district director, vice president, immediate past president. I was co-chair of the legislative committee. I was co-chair of the insurance committee. I testified in Annapolis for chiropractic legislation through that organization. And then in 2020, I resigned from the MCA because I was appointed to the state licensing board. So since 2020, I've been serving on the Maryland Board of Chiropractic Examiners. And again, I've been the secretary treasurer, vice president, president. I'm back in the chair of secretary treasurer again because I termed out as president. I've served on almost every committee on the state licensing board and still do. And then on top of that, I've also served some of the national organizations, the National Board of Chiropractic Examiners. I've served as a proctor for the Part 4 national board exams at least 5 or 6 times. I've served on the NBCE's test committees to help form the content for the upcoming board exams. I also have served as the Maryland's representative to the Federation of Chiropractic Licensing Boards. And last year at their annual meeting, I was elected the alternate rep for District 3 of the FCLB, which is basically the Northeast Coast and the eastern part of Canada.
Oh my goodness. Well, good luck remembering everything. Good luck repeating everything that Dr. Paul said. My point is that I want you listening or watching to know why am I so excited is because on one side we have the integration of clinical protocols of collaboration with other providers, which is very exciting. It's Dr. Paul's mission. It's also, if you've been following us, our personal and professional life is all about promoting integrative healthcare. So now meeting Dr. Paul, who is the representation of integrative healthcare, I'm super excited. And on top of it, this is, like I mentioned, not an average chiropractor, extremely good clinically, and also has so many accomplishments already, happening, even with all this stuff, which I am shocked that the patients are not just coming left and right and knocking on the door and there's a line like, TSA, at the airport. We don't have that. So even with this, you had some challenges with marketing.
Right. And the challenge, my challenge has never been, I hate to use the word managing. My challenge has never been explaining the necessity of care to patients once they're in the door. My challenge has never been collaborating with other healthcare professionals. My challenge has always been getting my name out there, getting my foot in the door, so to speak. My challenge has always been making people aware that I'm out there. And that's where if I had to summarize it, Mike and his team have been a huge help in two big main areas. One is what I just said, is getting the word out there about me, my practice, that I'm out there, that I'm available for patients, I'm available to collaborate with other healthcare professionals. But he's also been a huge help in terms of strategic planning for my business. I mean, it's not just about marketing. He's been a huge help in terms of to use a term Mike's used with me, creating an ecosystem for my practice, creating a branding for my practice, having a game plan. So I'm not just throwing darts at a dartboard and hoping something hits.
Yeah. Dr. Paul, thank you for your kind words. And with the different approach that we always tell people, it's important to use a different approach because everybody tries the traditional approach. Sometimes it works for people, but I really believe that a different approach is needed. So integration, right? We are talking about ecosystem. Integration between marketing, branding, and business development. In most companies, in most practices, these are very much siloed. There are different people in different categories, managed separately, and sometimes it's completely disjointed.
Yes.
So I believe that doing marketing without having a solid brand is a big mistake.
Yeah.
And also doing branding and marketing without connecting it with business development, it's another mistake that a lot of people make. And integration is really the only way to go, but it does require that strategic approach. And this is where Dr. Paul is also, you're very, very special because you not only you were open to it, but you also allowed us, you're very coachable. Very coachable. You allowed me to give feedback because our process is to evaluate first, recommend second, and then third, help implement it, like actually implement it. And you've been very helpful on all the aspects. Evaluation, you provided everything we asked for. Recommendations, we discussed it together. Everything made sense to you. We understood what you want. We made some recommendations. And also when it comes to implementation, you are very unique because many people actually are not coachable. They think they are, but they're not, because they receive something that sounds like a little bit of homework, assignment, and they don't want to do it. And with you, you say, hey, Mike, yeah, let me give you a quick update. I already did this, care credit, signed up, this, that. I just love it because you're very dynamic and you're a person that is moving faster than most, not just because of what we do, but because of what you do and how you're integrating the internal part with the external part, what we represent.
Well, I want to say something about that. I think that is a two-way street, and I'm probably going to make Mike blush a little bit when I say this here. But over the years, this is not my first practice. I've owned other practices before this one. I've had a number of quote business coaches over the years, going back to when I owned my first practice back in what year was that? 2018 or 2016. I've had many business coaches, and the one thing that makes you so easy to work with, and your whole team, is that you guys are always positive. You're always pumping me up, so to speak. I've never, in all our one-on-one calls and all our group calls, I've never gone into a call and I've never left a call feeling like, oh, I'm such a failure. Oh my God, I can't believe I couldn't do that. And you know how our spouses are always a better mirror of ourselves than we are. My wife listens in on these calls when you and I have our calls, our one-on-one or group, and she says, Paul, it's so amazing. Every time you're done with your calls with Mike, you look so excited and you look so pumped up, and she loves seeing that. So she sees me better than I see myself.
Wow, I think I am blushing now.
Good.
And Dr. Paul, this is the biggest mistake that I think typical consultants make, because they think it's their job to find what's wrong and fix it. I believe it's the opposite. Of course, we can fix what's wrong. Of course, everybody has things to improve. Like we're humans, right. And even AI has things to improve, right? Or robots. It's so important to focus on things that are our strengths and capitalize on our strengths and really build the whole strategy to capture the value, show it to people. That's where branding comes in. For me, branding is not a beautiful logo and an animation or a business card, that is with a proper font. Right. For me, branding is the process of creating a feeling that helps people decide to choose you. And I'm also intentional about this for us. Dr. Paul, frankly, our meetings and every single meeting, I am thinking about how would I like to feel after a meeting. And that's why I'm intentionally thinking, okay, what can we do to pump up the energy a little bit for Dr. Paul, so you can feel that motivation to go. This is intentionally being done, not because it's strategically it's good for us. We spend so much time at work, and our professional life is part of our life. It's all about integration here as well. And if we enjoy it so much on the business side, the whole personal life gets better.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, even the times where I've maybe been a little slow on one of my homework assignments you've given me, I don't get it done as fast as some of the others. You've never critiqued me for it in a bad way. The worst thing you've ever said to me is you've given me a thumbs up and said, all good, Dr. Paul, no worries. That's the worst you've ever said to me. That's amazing.
No worries. Oh, good. That is great. So I want people listening and watching to understand a little bit about our process without going too deep. Right. Because, and again, it's just an update. It's an early update. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. Our service is very flexible. Maybe we'll continue working with Dr. Paul for years. Maybe it's going to turn to be like a sprint, and then we just leave the office better than it was, and then we do something as needed. Future will show. But the process is very important to follow. First, we have a strategic setup, right? So we met with you, for people who are watching, so they know we met with you. We did a mini SWOT analysis, your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, your threats, target audience, ideal client, thinking about the customer journey or the patient journey, thinking about these awesome patients, what they need, not what we want them for. Right. What is it that they need? And coming from that perspective, so that's the strategic setup. When we did a few meetings, because that required 4 meetings of your time, right? Was that smooth, and was it logically placed in your business model when we did the strategic setup? Was it helpful
Oh,
for you?
beyond helpful. Absolutely. It was very structured. And again, I can't, everybody learns in different ways, but I'm a very, I need, like, the way my brain works, I need blueprints. I need step-by-step instructions. I need to know this is step one, this is step two, this is step three. And you and your team were great about that. I mean, you laid everything out for me step by step. It was very easy to follow.
Super. So that's the strategic setup. After the setup, during the setup, actually, we determine what the service should be based on your priorities, your objectives. Yep. And then we decided to go, because at the beginning you thought, hey, let's do as much content as possible, right? And basically that was the request, was like, Mike, can you help me with social media? And then we decided that actually it should be divided, some social media and video production, but also some strategic consulting and coaching. So let me know from your perspective, when we meet, for example, is it taking a lot of time out of your day, out of your week to work with us?
No. I mean, it's even with one strategic meeting a week and one we'll call it social media group meeting a week. It's no more than at most like maybe at tops 2.5 hours a week when we were first getting started. But it's time well spent, because 2 to 2.5 hours a week of this is worth 10 hours of me trying to do this on my own, even if I knew what I was doing.
Thank you for sharing that. So video production, because you tried videos yourself, right?
I did.
So let us know, or let somebody who's listening. So how did it go for you? Because you tried yourself, you recorded, you even started with a studio. How helpful is it to work with our producer, Weston, and have some support with video production?
It's amazing. And first of all, on the technical side, Weston knows so much more about not just, proper lighting, proper camera setup, proper equipment. He knows so much more about setting the stage and how to make the video flow better. When I was trying to do this on my own, I thought I knew what I was doing, and I had the whole tripod set up for my iPad to record myself. I got a little teleprompter app. I created scripts for myself, and I thought I sounded great until I watched the playback, and I sounded so robotic, and I was so worried. But what if I forget to say something? But that's another one of Weston's strengths, is he just has a conversation with you, just like we're doing now. And through the conversation, he knows how to get out of me the important points that I need to say.
Yeah, I think it's the key is to make it easy for you to be natural, because we want to capture the real Dr. Paul, not Dr. Paul the performer. You know what I mean? Like to have that natural Dr. Paul. So that is great. So video production. Then we also, on the brand, if brand is creating a feeling for people to decide to choose you, we also made sure that certain assets that you have online, graphic assets, Laura helped with management of the projects and also with creating the brand assets. So how do you feel right now with the progress overall between the graphic assets, what Laura did, the project management, and Weston, and the strategic consulting?
I love it. I think the process has been great. You guys, just on the video editing side, your team creates these amazing videos with graphics and edits I couldn't even dream of, and it looks so well done. I mean, every video looks better than the one before. But at the end of the day, the proof is in the pudding. I mean, we can make all these great videos we want, and we can make me a social media superstar. But at the end of the day, my goal is practice growth. Increase the business. And yes. I mean, I've only been working with you since January. It's only been like 2.5 months. And just in 2.5 months, my patient volume has increased by 23%. My new patient numbers have increased by 33%. My collections have increased by 42%. And that's just in the first 2.5 months. I mean, we've barely gotten anything out there because we're starting at a slow, measured pace. And already it's been measurable improvements in the practice. I can't wait to see what happens when we really get going.
That is amazing. And thank you for sharing that as well. It's a team effort, like you said. It's, what's happening internally in the practice, I can influence it to a point. I can inspire, I can influence, I can give strategies, but you and your team executed on this, which is awesome. The second thing that I also want to mention is that practical collaboration that is between you and other people. We want to take everything to the next level, because instead of just working always as a one, you always have to grab another patient from the ether, show that you're there, and then for the patient to decide, how much easier is it to build a referral network of people you already have it, but to improve, right? To connect you with, like, we have a doctors group, right? So we're connecting you with additional collaborating partners, potential collaborating partners, and you're just so good and smoothly connecting with everybody. So I want to thank you for that as
honestly, when I first contacted you back in December or January, that aspect of it, of you helping me, reach out to and connect with collaborative partners and referral partners, I didn't even consider that. Not that I didn't think you could do it, but it wasn't even on my radar screen. It's something I've always wanted for this practice. When I had my old practice, I was making connections the old-fashioned way. I was literally going to other doctors' offices, literally bringing them lunch from a local deli and cookies or brownies, and doing an old-fashioned PowerPoint presentation on my laptop.
I've done a lot of these too.
These days, that doesn't work. People don't have time for these like lunch and learn with their staff. And I knew that the way to connect to people these days is through social medias, through like digital networking, if I'm using that term correctly. But again, like I said earlier in our talk here, that's an area where it's not my strongest point to make that initial reach out. Not that I'm not willing, but it's not one of my stronger points. But that's one of the things that you and your team so seamlessly did for me. It's so natural for you to make these connections between me and other referral partners. And once that introduction's made, I've got it handled. And I'll say, if there's anyone out there who's watching this video, if you're, a client of Mike's now, or you're thinking of becoming a client of his, I'd love to talk to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Paul. From the last thing that I would like to say before we, finish the quick update that we have here, that turned out to be a little bit longer than a quick update. I just love talking to you. What can I do, right? We have integration that happens between social media videos and internal business development. So I want everybody to really pay attention. It's not how many likes you get on the post or how many views you get on the post, but what is that particular video, what is the purpose that particular video is serving, right? So is this video strategically saving you time? Can you email it to patients? Can you incorporate it in your website? Is it SEO optimized for your blogs, for AI search engines? Does it have, different backlinks? All these things are strategically connecting assets in the ecosystem. And it's not about the volume of how many likes, because I see a lot of people with a ton of likes and their business model is really not good. And I also see people I literally had an acupuncturist who says, I love all your stuff that you're posting. And recently you posted something, so I'm connecting with you. I'm like, let's call her Dr. X. I'm like, Dr. X, you never liked any of my posts, right? And I'm laughing. So a 0 like from that person brought a client referral. And, basically likes are not everything. And that's what I want people to really measure progress and what's working with the right measuring device and right measuring
And that's mindset. One thing you've taught me is before I started working with you, when I was trying to make these videos on my own, I thought you just have to keep pumping more videos out there. And it's not about, it's about, to use an expression, it's not the quantity of the videos, it's the quality of the videos that are out there. I mean, one thing you taught me is it's better to have fewer videos, whether they have likes or not, that are quality videos that get the right message out there and reach the right people, rather than have 100 videos that are all just mediocre.
Yeah. And imagine this, you fast forward 2 years later, right? So 2 years later, what happens that you look back and you can be truly proud of what your social media, your YouTube represents. And now you will have libraries playlists that you can use for maybe in the future, multiple locations, multiple providers, saving you time, all this stuff, very strategic instead of doing what everybody else does. It's like, let's pump as much content as possible and doing all these things. And also there are big opportunities with AI. Obviously, we're using AI to support the process, but we're not replacing the whole process by just AI publishing, a ton of content. That's actually super easy to do, but it's not always very strategic because AI at this moment requires human supervision and guardrails and, frankly, quality control and risk management as well. So that's for another conversation, but that's something we haven't done too much for you, Dr. Paul. Big thank you for the update, for sharing your success story, initial results, I would say. And now I have a motivation. So the next update is going to be great because I would like to build a whole case study for your office. I have a motivation to keep these results, to not get excited that a week or 2 or 3 or months are good, but I would like that to be your new baseline.
Well, I appreciate everything you're doing for me. So I can't thank you enough for that.
Super. If anybody is watching who either would like to visit you as a patient or refer patients to you or collaborate with you, podcasts, social media, or some other clinical collaboration, or lawyers who would like to talk about personal injury because you have a lot of experience with that as well, where can people find you?
So they online, you can find me on my website. It's towsonhealth.com. You can call me. The office number is 410-867-5351. And I'm always available day or night. I'm happy to talk to anybody, by any means that they're comfortable with. Phone, text, in person, online. I'm always here.
That's amazing. Connect with Dr. Paul, collaborate with him. He's truly, truly amazing. Dr. Paul, big thank you. All the best. I will see you on our next consulting call, and I cannot wait I can't wait to tell you. From you. All right, thank you. Awesome.
Bye.
Thanks so much. Bye-bye.